move on to quite an interesting deal that we've spoken about previously on previous episodes, so make sure to go and listen back if you have missed it. Antonio Nusa looked like he was going to be joining Brentford. Looks like that's fallen through. Pete, can we expect any movement before the window with him, or do you think that's looking like it's going to be a summer move potentially?
Yeah, I think this one's looking more likely to happen in the summer for Antonio Nusa. Obviously, Tottenham were leading the race for the young Norwegian, and then Brentford came in and put a big bid in of £25 million plus for the player, which was accepted by Club Brugge. It seemed like he was going to be making that move to Brentford, but then there was complications in his medical, so that put the sort of brakes on that deal to happen this month. Brentford are still keen on signing the player. Again, he's a very highly rated young winger, being talked about as the Norwegian Messi, which I'm sure is a great name for him to have on his shoulders at such a young age. But
no pressure.
No pressure at all. He'll be fine with that one. But yeah, he's a talented player. There's no doubt about that. He would be the typical type of Brentford signing, somebody that they can come in and sign and develop and then maybe sell on in the future for a huge profit. But yeah, I don't think that deal's going to happen this month. But Brentford still keen to do it, and they will definitely revisit it in the summer. But if they don't get a deal done quickly, it could leave the door open for other clubs to maybe make a move for Nusa, because we know Tottenham are interested, and I believe also that Newcastle are admirers of the player as well, but haven't been able to do anything this month because of their own FFP constraints as well. So yeah, I think it's a deal to keep an eye out for in the summer.
Paul, would you like to see him at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? Would he be a good addition to the squad, do you think?
Well, you've hit the nail on the head there. Be an addition to the squad. Whereas somewhere like Brentford, he'd go in and he'd play. No disrespect, but he'd go in and he'd want to play first team football. And if he was to choose Brentford, if the options were Tottenham or Newcastle, he's got an opportunity to go into Brentford and play. And for Brentford, let's be honest, it would be a coup for them, because since they've been in the Premier League, that's one thing that they haven't been able to do. Get the bigger signings in, if you like, compete with the likes of Tottenham and Newcastle for players. And if they are to bring him in, it would be a real coup for them. For Tottenham, it would be another one into the stable. You look at the forward play, you look at the prowess that they had on the pitch last night. Johnson coming off the bench at half-time. You would think that he's certainly going to be one for the future, not a regular starter. Newcastle, I know we're going to talk about them shortly, but we don't know what's going to happen with them, the reshuffling of Eddie Howe's pack. As a young player who wants to come and play in the Premier League, if his ambition is to play first-team football, then Brentford would look like the sensible option. But with the deal stumbling, as it is seemingly not going to happen in January, then it opens the window for a lot more vultures to come looking in the summer.
Yeah, I think it's spot on. I think it could be a really good signing for Brentford if they do pull it off. If we move on to the best window for a specific club, I mean, really only one name comes to mind, Pete. Surely that title, if you want to call it that, has been given to Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, Tottenham have won this transfer window. I think they've been the busiest club, so that's why they win it straight away in that respect. But yeah, good signings, I think. Obviously, Dragusin was the big money signing of this window so far from Genoa, £25 million. I think, again, he's one for the future. He's maybe not going to get many minutes this season due to the form of Van de Ven and Romero, but yeah, he looks a top player.
You wait 2 weeks. Romero will be suspended. He'll be in within 2 weeks.
Are you saying, but Paul, what's the prediction? Are you saying Are we going 2 weeks then?
2 weeks suspended, yeah.
Okay. Right. Well,
Van de Ven's hamstrings hold up as well, but yeah, it's going to be. I think he's a good signing for Tottenham long term. Dragusin. There's a lot of clubs who were looking at the Romanian, so Tottenham have gone and pushed the button and spent that money on him. And again, he just bolsters that Tottenham rearguard, who obviously they let Eric Dyer go to Bayern Munich as well. So yeah, good signing. And as I said, we spoke earlier about Timo Werner. I think he's a very smart signing on loan, a player with a top pedigree, played Champions League football, so I think he'll be a good fit for Tottenham. I think he's already slotted into the team seamlessly already, so yeah, he looks a good signing. But yeah, Tottenham have been the busiest club in this window. They've sort of kept this window alive, really, with their dealings, and still talk that they might try and do another one if they can. They've obviously been frustrated in their attempts to sign Conor Gallagher with Chelsea's huge price tag on the England international, so that's one they might have to revisit and wait in the summer for Conor Gallagher. But yeah, Franz Postecoglou, he's obviously done a good job so far for Tottenham, and he's been backed by Daniel Levy in this transfer market with those couple of signings in Werner and Dragusin. So yeah, it's been a very productive window for Tottenham.
And Paul, I was going to mention about Timo Werner earlier, but of course, I think it's worth saying now, he actually has as many Premier League assists this season so far since joining as Marcus Rashford, Gabriel Martinelli, and Luis Diaz. What do you think his ceiling is going to be for Tottenham this season? And actually, how many goals and assists would be required effectively to sign him permanently?
That's a good question. I don't think there is an expectation of Timo Werner. I think that's probably the good thing, because the expectation of with him coming in, it took everybody by surprise. Everybody was there, and it was a split camp, and I think everybody went, "Oh, that wasn't great at Chelsea. Didn't really score the goals. That hasn't worked." And then people thought about it and went, "Well, it's a free hit. He comes in. He's a squad player. The way that Ange plays, and already he's not hit the ground running, but you can see the way he fits into that side. The way he played last night." And I mean, and a former Chelsea player to get a standing ovation from the Spurs faithful after 2 or 3 games, that shows the type of attitude and application and performance levels that he's reaching already. It was always going to be a difficult one for him coming to Tottenham as an ex-Chelsea player, but I think the way that he plays and his application on the pitch, it just suits the way that the team play. And I think it is a free hit for both. I mean, he's got a lot to prove in the Premier League. I think he's got unfinished business here. And I think for Tottenham, with the size of the squad that they need to compete this season, with Son leaving for the Asia Cup, as we know, he just gave them that other option. And whether it was going to be a short-term option till the end of February, till Sonny came back and he was match fit, he's proven now that he's going to be an integral part of the squad. As far as what it would take to sign him permanently, probably more performances similar to what he's given now.
Yeah, that's right. And Pete, do you think going forwards, actually, clubs might adopt if you want to call it the Spurs transfer business model of getting those deals done early, to then not be pressured into making signings with FFP?
Well, normally it was Spurs who did their business late in the transfer windows. Daniel Levy loved those late deals, keeping the fans hanging on for any new arrivals. So yeah, it's been a change of tack from Spurs in this window. They've gone and done their business early. I think it's smart. You want to get your players in at the start of January so they can have time to settle into the new club and get used to their teammates and have an immediate impact, which obviously Timo Werner's already had at Spurs when he was definitely needed, with Son being away and there was injuries to other players as well. But obviously, if you're going to get players in the way things are going now with FFP, you're going to have to let players go as well. So let's not forget that Tottenham have let quite a few players move out in this January transfer window as well. Some big earners as well. So Eric Dara went, Hugo Lloris has gone as well. Obviously, they've loaned out the likes of Sergio Reguilon as well. So I think Spurs, although they've brought in a couple of signings, they've made room in the squad by letting players leave as well. So yeah, that's what you're going to have to do with FFP now. Look at Newcastle. It's been a case of if they wanted somebody in, they had to let somebody go in this window if that was to happen for them, and that's due to the constraints of FFP. So I think that's the way clubs are going to have to deal with it right now until those FFP rules and regulations are, as we've talked about before, changed and there's a bigger ceiling for the amount of debts that you can carry over the 3-year cycle.
You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.